Previously on Welcome to MARCHintosh.
Let's go ahead and turn it on. Drive spun up. That's good. There's no chime, you'll notice. Now that's an indication that the sound chip has been damaged because of leaky caps. Cut the surmising back again. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Check some. Lost connection with UUT. Check error. UUT functions. I don't know what that means. You have to be careful with these because these have plastic clips and they're easy to break.
It's MARCHintosh 2024.
Welcome to MARCHintosh. It's part 2 of our SE30 series. We're going to continue on from last week. Last week we were showing that we had the surmising issue on the screen. We also had no sound. And if we reseated the ROM chip, we could get the machine to boot. And we tried to do some tests with the tech step, Apple Tech Step, which is over there. And it didn't quite work out right. I was talking to Will at Cayman Vintage about the issue, and he said that Tech Step won't work when surmising is present. So that would probably explain some of my problems I had before. Although I am new to the machine and don't really know how to use Tech Step, but he said it wouldn't work anyway. Also, I was saying we didn't have any sound, and my good friend James at JDW said, "Hey Mark, you didn't have the speaker plugged in." And he's right. And the funny thing is, I have an extension cord for that too, but I didn't have it plugged in. So it was a good catch, James. But I knew from the past that even when it is plugged in, that it didn't work. Now that could mean that it could be a bad speaker, but that's not usually likely. Will asked me to check the headphone jack, and I did that, and I found that when I did turn on the machine and play sounds, I could hear a chime, and I could hear the noises, but they were very muted. So it tells us a couple of things. The fact that it works through this port means that the sound chip isn't dead. The fact that they are muted means that the caps are leaking, which we already knew. They're very bad. And the fact that there's a problem at all with the speaker versus the headphones is that there's a problem most likely with the jack itself on the headphones. I'm not sure if it requires a replacement or I can clean it. I'm not sure. I'll ask Will about that, and we'll continue with that as we go forward. What else did we find out? Will was telling me that sometimes what happens with these plastic clipped sockets here is that they warp. The ROM chips warp. I wonder if you can see it. Can you see that is actually warped? It's bowed up in the center. Let me put it over here. Maybe you can see it better. Let's see if we can get a good view of that. Get that in focus. You see that? It's warped up in the top a lot, and that gives us the bad contact. Can we push it down? No, I think he said that the boards warp over time, and this happens. So that's probably the cause of our surmising right there. And keen viewers will have noticed that I broke this plastic clip here, ironically, when I was showing you guys how fragile they were. So there they go, they broke. So the ROM doesn't fit in very well, but luckily Will is sending me a couple with metal clips that are very, very good. My Mac 2s all have ROM and RAM chips with metal clips. I have ordered replacements for the RAM ones. They're all good now, but I just don't like these. And I may change them all out with metal clips. I'll have the option as soon as I get in. And what else we got going on here? Let me see. I think that's it. I think we're ready to do some recapping. So there's a couple of different ways to take caps off. And some people like to use the hot air method. And I've got a hot air system here. Right there. I've tried this in the past on a test board, and I haven't had much luck, but it's because I haven't had a lot of time with it. I know for a fact that these systems do work. I've seen great results from Will at K-Mac and Bruce at Branchus Creations, who use these things all the time and have no issues at all. So I think with everything, it's just practice that makes it perfect. And I haven't gotten there yet with this. I actually pulled the traces off of a board under a cap. I probably didn't have it hot enough and I pulled it away too soon. I'm not sure. But I'm not good enough with these yet. I'll keep trying. Another alternative is the hot tweezers, which are basically a soldering iron system accessory. So you've got your basic heat system here, the home base of the soldering system, which can run an iron or whatever you need to use. In this case, we can run tweezers. I've seen people use these before very successfully. I had problems pulling mine off on my test board, but I found out that I had the tabs here. They were not parallel to each other, and I've adjusted them so now that they are. And I'm hoping that I'll have a better result. Although I got all the caps off successfully, I didn't mess any of them up. So let's take a break here to let me plug everything in, and we'll start getting ready to recap this. Okay, we're back. Everything's plugged in and ready to go. I've got the tweezers hooked up. I'm currently running them at 750 Celsius. And I've got my flux ready. I'll be using flux to help get the caps off. But first we're going to clean the area around the caps because there's a lot of dust on there that was there before the caps leaked. And when they leaked out, it just fills in the dust and makes a lot of little grunge on there you want to get rid of. So let's take our foam-based tips here and some alcohol, and let's clean the board. Okay, let's get probably don't have it turned on. This is 90% alcohol, and I'm just going to clean up the area around the traces. Let's pull out the microscope and you can see it better. Okay. So here's one here. Let's look at C13. See all that grunge that's on there on the pads. I'm sure it'll come off whether I do this or not, but I just think it'll be easier if I clean these. See, now I can see the pad a lot better. Yeah, well, I don't know if it's going to help, but we'll do it anyway. The axial caps don't appear to have leaked, but we're going to replace them anyway. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. Let's see what we should do first. Let's turn it this way because I'm coming in from the left side. Don't want this connector to be in my way. That's in the way, sorry. I don't want to hurt this connector with the heat, so I'm going to come in from this side since I'm left-handed, and we'll attack the caps from over here, but we'll put some flux on them. There we go. Let's see, where is this one? There it is. See what we can do. Okay, there's some flux. I've talked to James at JDW and Colin at This Is Like Compute, and they have slightly different temperature settings, but they're very close. And Colin puts solder on his, and James just puts flux on it. And I found a combination of the settings work better for me for whatever reason. So I think I've got it on Colin's temperature, and I've got it on James's just flux only, and that worked well for me in my test. I'll provide links to their videos where they use these tweezers too, and you can see what I'm talking about. And both of them are really good at it. We'll see how good I am. I don't expect it to be earth-shattering, whatever I do. That's not good. I'm not good at this either. This is my first time taking off surface mount caps. I've done it before on through-hole caps. I took off the caps and I recapped the power supply on my SE30 hard drive. It's a Sony power supply, and it wasn't too bad. I didn't have the microscope back then. I had trouble seeing it. That was my biggest problem. I couldn't see anything, and I really couldn't. It was very frustrating. So I ended up getting this scope, this is my first time using it for real. But I also got one of those headset things that you can wear, and that has the little lenses in it, the little light. Those are really good too. So you could probably do this with that if you don't have a scope. Really, what you need to do is have a lot of light, because I think my biggest problem I had, besides that my eyes aren't that great, is that I didn't have enough light on it. So make sure you can see it, and make sure you have plenty of light, and you should be okay with this. Okay, let's go over here to this guy. Where are we? Yeah, I don't think that alcohol really did me any good, but that shouldn't have hurt. Did I get everything? Let me see here. Got those. No, I think we missed these guys over here. Okay, there we go. Let's see what we can do. Okay, and one more. Can I get that under the scope? Can you see it? Okay. Let's try this. Okay, so they're all cleaned and they've all got flux on it. So let's see if we can take them off. Let's try this guy first. He's way out there in the middle of nowhere. Can I get this over there without tipping? Okay, we in the shot? Yeah. Okay, let's try this out. Wish me luck. Oh, wait a minute. Before we do that, James said he likes to put solder on the tips, on the inside surfaces, if that helps. So we'll do that. Okay. Okay, here we go. We got that guy in the frame. Yep. Okay, let's see what we can do. Doesn't take long, a couple of seconds. Yeah, those guys did it a lot faster than this. I don't know why it's harder for me to do it. They're also more experienced than I am. Okay, that's not working. Let's reflux that guy. That's probably enough on there, but I may need to put some solder on it. So I'll be linking those guys' videos because I'm not really good at this and it isn't my thing. So I will give you links to the guys who know how to do it well. And honestly, one of the best places to start if you've never done it before is to go to Branchus Creations and watch Bruce's intro to soldering. He shows you how to do surface mount and through hole. And if you don't know how to do any of this stuff, it's a great place to start. I looked at his stuff too. I'll give you links to that as well. So you can see why I'm going to tell you better places to look. Look at those giant solder balls. That's not good. Okay. Let's try that again. Boy, they came off. This just isn't working for me. Uh-oh. I think the cap just popped. I think I fried the cap. Okay, got it off. Cap got fried. Yeah, that wasn't too good, was it? I need to pull off that solder. Oh, it's not stuck on anything. Okay, that's good. Let's check out the pads. Uh-oh. I tore off a pad. I think I did. Oh, maybe not. Before we go too far, I'm going to stop this and get some more stuff and clean these and see if I messed them up or not. So we'll come back in a second. Okay, we're back. I got my solder wick and we're going to try to clean these pads and see if I messed them up or not. And I hope I did not. Can I get this in there? Good. Let's see. Sure I'm stable. Okay. So what we're going to do is put some flux on this. I got the iron turned on. 350C. A lot of my friends use that setting. So what we're going to do is put flux on this. And then some solder. I think I'll use the big stuff. And then, am I in camera there? Let me get these. Are those in? That's not bad. Okay, let's try this. Let's put some solder on it. Okay. And then what we're going to do is put the solder wick on there and gently scrub it around a little bit and see if we can clean off those pads. Uh-oh. That's not good. I stuck it to the board. Okay, came off. Oh, good. I think the pad's fine. Oh, look. Can you see it? It's still there. This one here on the right I was talking about. That's the one I was worried about. Okay. So solder wick is great if you haven't used it before. It pulls up the solder. You can see it. Watch it come into the wick. It's really cool. Just takes it out of your way, which is great. Most people don't stick it to the board like I'm doing. So again, watch the links I'm going to send you below. It shows you how to do this for real. Oh, I'm stuck. It must be over here. That's where it is. Okay. Way too much on there. Oh, look at that. They call that a pillow. Is it in the shot? All the flux is getting in the way. You can't really see it. Okay, so let's try again. Okay, I'm going to leave it here for a second. I need to get something else. I forgot. I got the tip cleaning tool. You've probably seen these before. Everybody uses something like this. So we're going to clean the tip. Okay. Let's get those pads over there. I think I need a wider solder wick. This is just something I got. I didn't know, all about that when I ordered this. So I think I need to get wider wick. I've also got a tapered or a beveled tip on here. I'm going to do that scrub method. I call this the Bruce scrub method. I know a lot of people use it, but I first saw Bruce do it at Branchus Creations, so I call this the Bruce scrub method. And I'm not doing it right. There's still too much solder on there. Well, I'm not very good at this. You already knew that, though. Do I need to put more flux on it? I don't know. I've watched people do this a million times, but when I'm sitting here doing it, I lose all of it. I don't remember any of it anymore. I need to get my air extractor out of here, too, because it's coming up right in my face. Okay, we're going to cut this here until I can figure out what I'm doing, and then I'll show you again once I've figured it out. Okay, so we'll be back. Okay, well, I got all the caps off, as you can see here. It was not as easy as I saw James and Colin do it, but, I don't know how to do this. This is my first time using these. I didn't seem to pull any traces off when I took these off, but, I couldn't really tell. But in cleaning the board, well, I did. So while I didn't seem to pull any pads when I pulled the caps off, I was cleaning all the pads, and one of them lifted, and it came almost all the way off. Let's see if I can show it to you. What can I point with? Maybe this flux. It's this pad right here. I can't get it in focus on the camera, but it's this one. You can see this edge. Let's try to point something. This edge right here. Actually, both sides are lifted off. I think it's being held on by the center of the pad. See how it's moving? Yeah, it went back down, but I don't think it's going to stay. This is not good. So basically, I'm kind of done right now. I can't go any farther until I can figure out what to do about this. I'm going to get a hold of Will tonight, see if he says this is even fixable or not. It could be. I'm sure it's beyond my scope. This may be permanently damaged now. That's not the end of the world for this whole thing, because I can get Will to get me a reloaded board, I'll have him do it because clearly I don't know how to do this. So that's the worst case. So I'll get a hold of him and see what he says we can do about it. The rest of them look okay. Yeah, I'm not good at this. So a new policy. There'll be no more showing you guys how to solder on this channel until I learn how to do it. And that might be a while. So we won't end it yet because let me get a hold of Will and tell you what I found out. But yeah, that's not good. So be back in a minute. Okay, I got a half decent view on the scope, so let's look at that and see if you can see what I'm talking about. So it's this cap here that we're talking about, C9, and the pad that's messed up is this one here. And see how it's moving when I hit it with this solder? That's not good. It's flaking off. If I bring it to the edge, it's in better focus. This side's actually up right now. Yeah, did you see that? It's like a seesaw. It's gonna come off. Okay, so see that? Yeah, that's totally loose. It's off. Oh well. Okay, so the moral of the story is practice, practice, practice. If you watch Will do his stuff, you think he's been doing this since he was a kid. He's been doing this for about 2.5 years, and he said it was all practice. He got like old VCRs or whatever, things he would get, I don't know, at the dump or something like that. And he just practiced on old things that don't even matter until he got good at this. And then he began to work on his machines. Well, I just didn't take that advice. I watched everybody else do it and thought, I could do it too. And this is what happened. So don't do this on boards that you need unless you've practiced it a lot and you know how to do it. Maybe through hole would be better. I'll try through hole. I do have my Lisa here needs a lot of work on it, and I can use that as a way to learn how to do through hole. I have some new boards to load up with that one, and it should be easier than this, but famous last words. So again, let me go get a hold of Will and see if this is going to stop me, or how do I proceed from here. So I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll let you know what I found out. Okay, so here we are with C8, and you can see that the outline of it right there. It looks like a square, but it has notches on these two corners here. That's going to show us the positive side over here. Notice that each of these pads leads to a via. Via is this little hole here that goes through the board to the other side to do other things, to go other parts of the circuit. So see, there's one here on this pad, and this pad has one as well, right there. So let's go over here to C9, which is the one that lifted. So here we are. This is the C9. This is the pad that's fine. This pad came completely off, right there. Completely came off the board. So notice the via that's going to the positive side, which is right there, and here's the via for the negative side, and I have scraped off the solder mask, and I tinned the copper traces here, and because this is such a wide space here, we can use this as the contact for the negative side of the component. So let's just put one in there and just to look at it. Okay, so we have another canister cap in its place, and this is a polymer cap. Here's what it looks like. It may not focus very well because this just doesn't focus on this microscope. So polymer cap, you can see the tapered edges fit this way, and normally it would go on just like this, the way that it had before. So ours is going to go at an angle so that the contacts meet up with this new trace that I exposed here on the via. And see, it actually does bridge the gap. I'm trying to get it in the middle, you can see better. See, on the left we can reach the part that I exposed, and on the right we can reach the pad. So it should work. So we're going to try that and see what happens. All the other pads cleaned up very well. This is the only one I messed up. And how I messed it up was I was holding the soldering iron bare on the thing for way too long. What I see most people do is if they hold it on bare, I mean, it would have flux on it, of course. I had some flux on it, but it didn't have any wick on it or anything. They'll usually give a mild scrub to these things, go back and forth. They never stop on the things when they're cleaning off stuff, I mean. And I haven't seen anybody even do this for more than 6 seconds maximum. I was on there for a long time, and then it curled up and peeled off. So we won't be doing that again, so that was a learning experience. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and test these out next, and I'm not going to bother showing you guys because I've never done it before. It's going to probably be not pretty. So we'll come back after it's done, and we'll see how well it came out. Wish me luck. Okay, we're back. It's been a couple of days, and I never got to soldering because as I was messing with this thing, I realized that the trace that I had uncovered and tinned wasn't making good continuity to the via. So I went ahead and tried to work with that, and guess what happened? I made it worse. So let's check this out now and see what we got. Okay, here we are. This is good old C9. By the way, I figured out how to focus this microscope better, so sorry for the first part. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got here. I was trying to get continuity on the via right there to the trace that had been right here, and the trace came off. It came off too, the same way as the pad did. So I also tried to get the solder out of the via, and I think I had my solder sucker set way too high, and as you can see here, I dug into the board. I actually broke through the surface and exposed some of the fibers. Let me get that better. Some of the fibers are showing now. So I stopped again and went and contacted Will, who was on vacation. Sorry I kept bothering you, Will, but I appreciate all your help. He wasn't too concerned with this damage. He recommends that I fill it in after I put a post in it with solder mass to help reinforce the board. But I was able to finally get the via cleared, and I did it from both sides. And I'll show you this side too. So here is the via here. You can see I got it cleared out, but I also was a little aggressive with my solder wick. I probably had the heat set too high as well, and I dug through a little bit, but not too bad. I'll also fix this area with solder mask, but the great thing is I have really good continuity between this side of the via and the top side. So what I'm going to do is when I install the new capacitors, I'll take the trimmings from one of the axials and use it as the lead. I'll pipe it through the hole there, solder it from the bottom side, and then what I can do is bend it over around and to touch the leg of the polymer capacitor. So that should work fine. It's been a few days since I messed up the board, But since then, my package came in from Will, and it had my ROM sockets with the metal clips. So I'll be putting that in. He also sent me these 2 packages of ROM clips that you can use in case your ROM chip doesn't fit well against your socket. These can be used to hold it up tighter. You can get a better contact. So we'll be trying those too. I also got my RAM sockets in with the metal clips, and as long as I can recap this board successfully, I will replace all these clips, all these sockets, because these are just a lot better. So all in all, I think we got a little bit of progress made on this thing. Not as far as I'd like to have gotten. So I think I'll have to give this episode 4 out of 5 Sad Max. I would have given it 5 Sad Max, but there's hope that I can actually fix this thing. So let's keep our fingers crossed, and we'll continue going and get this working again. So next month is going to be April. So if we can't do Max in April, we got to do apples. So we're going to work on the Apple IIc and the Apple Lisa next month. And then after that, we can get back into the good old SE30. So I want to thank my supporters, and I really want to send a special thanks out to Will, who listened to me with all my problems and gave me great advice on how to fix what I just done here. I want to say thanks to James at JDW for all his support and his great videos, and I want to thank Bruce at Branchus Creations for his great videos. If you haven't seen his intro to soldering, if you're new at it, check those out. And I also want to thank Colin at This Does Not Compute, because he gave me a lot of help too. And honestly, all 4 of those guys are great at soldering. Watch all their videos for soldering. If you're new to it, watch Bruce's 3 intros, but watch all their stuff. They're all great. So I want to thank my supporters, and thanks for watching.
Smash that like button. Smash it good.